Hello everyone, welcome to DTC Talks hosted by NextSmartShip. My name is Kai, a project marketing manager in NextSmartShip, and this is DTC Talks, stands for Direct to Consumer Talks. It's a series of live webinar about e-commerce business. So we invite e-commerce operators, founders to share their experience to help your business grow. And today we are so happy to have you here. We have audience from all over the world. So please feel free to drop into the chat about where you're from and pop up any questions in the process. We're gonna make sure to get your concern by the end of this webinar. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from different time zones. And this is sourcing from China. We're gonna share the tips, all the things you need to know about sourcing from China. And today we have a special guest who we got here, Lisa Chen from Supplyia Sourcing Company. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Kai. Hi, DTC Talks audience. I'm very pleased to be here today.
Yes, and today Lisa from Supplyia also prepared a gift for you. So for everyone who sign up this live webinar, we're gonna give you a free sourcing service for your first 2 products in Supplyia sourcing services. So that means normally, they charge around $50 about sourcing fees, but for our DTC Talks audience, you don't have to pay for it. Also, there's another surprise, right, Lisa?
Yes, that's true. One more surprise to the people who watch us right now. We will choose 5 of them to give another gift. No commission fee for your first deal with Supplyia. What does that mean? Usually we will charge 5 to 9% from your order with your supplier, but for our audience today, you won't pay for it for your first order.
Yeah, that sounds very tempting, doesn't it? So how to get it? I will let you know now. So I will send promo code by the end of this webinar. And then you're gonna send this promo code to our email, which is marketing@nextsmartship.com. So the promo code I'm gonna tell you in the end of this webinar. Just stay with us, and we're gonna choose at least 5 clients to become our special clients. We're gonna give you the sourcing special bonus. So one is no sourcing fee, the other one is no commission fees. And we have audience from all over the world, so please stay with us. And we are on live on Facebook. Please tell your friend, tell your e-commerce friends to join this live webinar, okay? And also, so before we jump to sourcing from China, I'm gonna give you an overview about NextSmartShip. So we are 3PL. We are the global leading fulfillment service company. We serve DTC brands to pick, pack, and ship the products from their suppliers to our fulfillment centers and to their customers globally. We don't have MOQ, so no matter what kind of size business you're running, you are our VIP customers. And we also have 7 global warehouses in Shenzhen, China, in LA, the States, New Jersey, the States, and Canada, the UK, and Germany, and Sydney, Australia. So we got more than 70 shipping carriers. That means we can recommend you the cheapest and the fastest shipping channels for you. You can always find a good deal with us. So apart from that, we also have customized services like Pack Green, which is green packaging solutions. So basically, we cover everything in warehouse and the shipping process for you. So now I'm gonna pass over to Lisa about the overview of Supplyia.
Thanks, Kai. Yes, simply speaking, at Supplyia, we work with you and manage all your different suppliers from source to delivery, making your supply chain much simpler and more efficient.
That's great. So thanks, Lisa. And they are very professional. They are located in the eastern of China. And we are located in Shenzhen in South China now, which is close to Hong Kong. So please stay with us and drop where are you from in the comment, in the Facebook comment, and pop up any questions. Our assistant gonna collect all the questions to me, and I'm gonna make sure to answer all of them by the end of this webinar. So this webinar we're gonna last around maybe 45 minutes. We're gonna interview Lisa for around 25 or 30 minutes, and the last 15 minutes, we're gonna answer all your questions about sourcing from China. And this episode, we're gonna discuss about 5 tips about sourcing from China. As we all know, most of the DTC brands have suppliers in China. So they have so many like pain points, like how to deal with Chinese suppliers. For example, how to verify the Chinese suppliers, and how to control the quality, and how to better communicate with them when it comes to the language barriers or cultural differences, and also how to negotiate with the confident, get a better price, get a better condition, and then build a long-term relationship. So we're gonna cover all of them. So we're gonna help you with all. Please stay with us. And so now we're gonna start this journey with you guys. So first of all, we're gonna talk about how to find suppliers in China. So there's a friend from Italy. We have a survey before, we collect questions before. His name is Fabrizio. He said, what kind of suppliers are there? And how to understand the differences between trading company and manufacturing or other different types of suppliers. So Lisa, would you like to answer these questions?
Yeah, sure. Well, I would say the most two common types are trading companies and manufacturers when you try to look for suppliers in China. For trading companies, they don't produce the product by themselves. They buy products from different suppliers, or they design their own products. They do not actually own a factory. But for manufacturers, they are the people who really make production of the products. However, something you need to pay attention is that some manufacturers, they sometimes will buy products from other factories and sell them to you. And in this case, they are also acting as a trading company.
Okay, so you mentioned that some kind of agency, right? They don't have their own manufacturing, but they can help you to source some factories.
Yeah.
But some of them,
that's like kind of a trading company.
Okay, but some of them you can just directly talk to them and to get the products from them. But you have to prepare your needs, your design, and to tell them what kind of products you want, and they're gonna send you samples, right?
Yeah, if you're going to work with the manufacturers, you need to tell them your product design or your specific requirement for what kind of product you want to produce. And there are more details you have to follow up with the manufacturer because they are the people who actually manufacture the product you want.
Yeah. Right. And there's a friend from Nigeria. His name is Avery. He say, how does one order from China and how legit is 1688.com? How do you order from Alibaba to their countries?
Okay, so 1688.com is now very popular, but it is actually different than Alibaba. 1688 was used locally in China. If you want to buy from 1688, you can still do it with an agent. When you buy from 1688, the process is actually simple. You just need to follow the steps there on the website, and it's very clear. However, if you buy it by yourself, you may face a lot of issues, such as you place the order, but you don't know how to follow up when they will ship the order, and you may have some quality issues later, and you don't have a good way for quality control. Do you just ask like how do you order from a different country like Nigeria?
Nigeria. They want to say like how do they order from Alibaba to Nigeria?
Yeah. So as far as I know, you may have problems with payments if you order from Alibaba directly from Nigeria because of the foreign exchange controls. But as far as I know, there are a lot of agents in Nigeria too. You can try to get help from them in this case, which can save you a lot of time and effort, as I mentioned earlier, because even you can buy it, you finally figure out a solution to buy it, by yourself directly. You will have a lot of issues later that, out of control. So in this case, I still recommend, try to work with the agent.
Okay, right. I got it. Especially there's some maybe language barriers and some policy from different countries. So maybe it's easier to work with the agency, right?
Yeah. then like payment issues too. Yeah.
Right. And there's a friend from Malaysia. His name is Maud. He want to ask what's the OEM and white label products and how to choose them. Yeah, I heard a lot of OEM and white label, private label. So what's the difference between them and how to choose them?
Okay, that's a good question. Generally speaking, I would say OEM. Do you know actually what OEM means, by the way?
I think it's like originally like maybe you're trying to find a manufacturer of to produce a certain product only for you, like special for you, not for other people, and you take your like brand or image or marketing stuff on it, so that will be yours, right?
Yeah, that's very close. So, well, let's look at the three letters. So OEM refers to original equipment manufacturer.
Manufacturing, yeah.
It means you provide the factory with the design, like your own design, and they help you to produce the product. And then white label products typically means it is a factory who offers the product, and then you name it as your own brand. So,
Okay.
white label products really are suitable for, people who want to test some products at the beginning stage. Because at this stage, you don't want to do a very big investment to do your own product design. You may just want to get familiar with the whole process about how to build a supply chain in China. And then as the business grows and later OEM products can be developed to increase competitiveness. Because at this stage, you're familiar with the market and you get more sense about what you really want to do in this market. But one thing you need to know is typically the OEM product development cycle is long, which can, usually it can take at least a few months. And of course, there's a higher risk of failure because you develop something new, like the market doesn't have it. Yeah.
Okay, I see. But I mean, you talk about like the differences between those two is like one is you have the design and before producing, and the other one is they give you the products. You don't have, so there's like a zero space. Like if I want to, I just start my business, online business right now. I don't have much time or money to have a creative products design idea, but I still want to maybe change a tiny bit about the products you provide to me. Can I do that way with the white label manufacturers, or they just very strict?
Well,
no, we just give you what we have, that's it.
I think it's possible. If you just want to make a little improvement or tiny change on an existing product, that's totally possible. Like I will give you like a simple example. It's probably not the real case. For example, if you're going to, you want to buy a mug, but you want to change certain design of the mug. For example, you want to add a specific cap. So, or you want to put your own brand on the mug.
Yeah.
So certain kind of customization is possible even for the white label product. I think it's kind of depends. What maybe your cap is the factory you're talking to, they may already have it, or putting a brand name on the mug, they already do this before. So it's not like a totally new OEM product.
Okay, I see. It sounds like a more OEM is more like a functional products. Maybe there's different functions and from the shape or something inside.
Yeah.
It's
so
bigger.
you really have to discuss with the factory and see whether they have the ability already. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, don't change the key part on the main components. Yeah, you can make like tiny change like you mentioned. Yeah.
I see. All right. Okay. So David from the US, he wanna ask how to check the seller's background, how to find out the seller has no criminal background in China. I have to mention it. When I was in Australia, I was studying, traveling there, and they asked everyone to do a certificate or something in the police station that proves you are okay, you have no criminal background. But I'm not sure if China has this kind of policy. So how to check their background to make sure this is the real one and they won't give you some fraud information or fake it or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. A lot of customers have that concern. So there are some ways you can do that. First of all, there are some software that you can use to check, like free software such as Canyon Checker, which you can, well, it's Chinese, but you can use Google Translate to help you to do some translation here in order to understand what is there. However, if you are going to place a really big order with certain supplier, I would suggest you choose a professional factory inspection agency. So they can give you a detailed report, and for this kind of inspection, the cost will be usually around $200 to $250. Of course, before you really place the order for this inspection, you can always ask the inspection agency to send you a sample report for reference first and see whether that meets your requirement or meets your needs.
Yeah, so you mentioned that the first way you can check some Chinese app called it's called
Website,
Tianyan, right?
Software.
By
Tianyan Check.
yeah, Tianyan Check, but it's in Chinese, so probably you need translation. I mean, it's better to have Chinese friend as well. And the other way is to work with agency. That's a more efficient way. I mean, maybe before the pandemic, if you can, maybe you can fly to China to visit the factory by yourself. But now the pandemic, maybe you can't really come to China. So yeah, to try to find a trustful agency to help you to find some trustful suppliers, right?
Yeah, so just for our audience information, if you are interested in that software or website I mentioned, it's tianyancha.com, so spelled as TIANYANCHA.com. Yeah, you can find, when the factory or company is established and how many staff they have. So usually the longer, the bigger the company, which means, you can kind of tell this factory or company is reliable.
Yes, right. Okay, cool. So anything else you want to share with us? Maybe some case study about verifying suppliers in China, like from your experience?
Well, yeah, we kind of recommend our customer to use that website first, because based on our experience, most cases that will be enough. Because you can, like I mentioned, you can find how long the company exists, and if it's a big factory, usually bigger than, I would say, 50 to 100 people. That would be a pretty good size as a reliable supplier.
Yeah.
And only for one special case, like our customer really cares about the quality or how well the factory is, and we do help them to send people to the factory and do some on-site inspection, and it will be a third party. We just kind of help them to connect the third party and our customer, and then we send people to the factory, take photos.
Yeah, and, videos, maybe some like a tour.
Yeah, videos and and take their. One important thing, take a photo of their license. Manufacturing license. Yeah, because it will show exactly the time of when the factory is established. Yeah.
Right. Okay, DTC audience, please remember you can choose to work with the agency and ask them to visit the factory and take the picture of the license. Also, maybe take some videos of the factory as well if they are allowed you to do that. So just maybe ask them to send the samples as well. So just double check from different ways to make sure the suppliers are real and are responsible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's true.
Yeah, so let's jump to the second point. How do we control the quality? We got a lot of questions about this because, when we start to promote this live webinar, we receive more than 500 people to sign up from all over the world, from the US, from Canada, from Australia, from Africa, from Europe, and many of them ask the quality control because everyone knows that the cost is quite cheap in China, but people kind of still worry about the quality. But actually, these few years, gradually Chinese products quality has been significantly increased. So it's been very good. But still, do you have some tips about doing the quality control?
Oh yes, quality control is very, very important. So I think based on our experience, my suggestion will be negotiate with the factory first and make sure the batch order you placed will be inspected before the shipment. And when the goods are ready, you can also, again, third-party inspection agency, because they are not, belonging to the factory, and there's some kind of middle person there, and they will be honest to you. And you can send the third-party inspection agency, and again, similar cost for this kind of inspection will be around $200, $250. And but one key thing I want to remind everyone here, this kind of inspection is not a one-time check.
Yeah.
You need to do this every time, in the best case, when you place a batch order, or at least do it frequently, even if you have a consistent, you're going to place a few more orders with the same factory. It's not mean like the quality of this batch is good and then all the future batches will be good. So remember to do this multiple times or do it frequently.
Right. So the pre-quality inspection also do the multiple times check as well, not just one time. Yes. And so there's a friend from Italy, Marco, has a question. How to ensure my own design is protected, or will not be copied and sold under a different brand name? The copyright, basically he's talking about the copyright. Yeah.
It's a very hard question. Well, a lot of our customers ask us this. It's kind of difficult, or it's very challenging, or it's hard. I don't know which word is the right word, but it's very hard. So you can, our suggestion always be you can try to sign a confidential contract with the factory. However, many sellers, they can buy products actually from you, because you have the product and you are selling them online. So your competitors will try to buy from you first. And then they send your product to some other factories in China and ask them to produce the same product. So what you have to do, or the best way, at least in our opinion, is to register a patent both in China and in your country, so the others cannot sell it.
Okay, that's very important. That's very for your copyright, for design. Yeah, because nowadays, I mean, the creative idea is very unique, and everyone wants to have their own brand, their own style, not just the average or generic product. So they really want to keep their copyright and protect them as well, especially when they do some business cross the border, from the people from other countries as well. So yeah, that's very good suggestion. And so I just have another question is, for example, during the process, like we work with, for example, I'm online seller and I'm work with agency, or I'm working with a factory, and you send me the sample, everything looks good. But when I start to work with you and you send the products to my customers, or I send the products to my customer, but if there's something broken or something damaged or something wrong with the quality, do you guys, or does agency have some insurance to guarantee or to get refund?
Yep, I understand your question. So first, for this case, we will highly recommend our customer to sign a contract with the factory. We can help prepare the contract, and we list everything in the contract as a protection for your benefits, for our customers' benefits. If there is a problem with the product, we will write clearly in the contract, if there's a problem, it can be returned or reproduced. And if there's a dispute, then you can use the law to protect your benefits, if you sign this contract. Since you're in a different country, it is difficult to understand the overall situation of the product production. So it's more important to have someone like, an agent like us to act between you and the supplier, and to help you set up this kind of contract to protect your benefits.
Correct. I think this also answer another friend, Emily from Canada, not from Paris, but from Canada, and so he want to say how to control the quality, or maybe enforce the factory do something, I guess you just answered it. Like you can sign up a contract, like maybe a strict contract about that. Like if there's something wrong with my products, you have to do this way. Because customer service or customer experience way more important to us. Otherwise, if they give our bad review, the business will going down. So sign a contract with them, right?
Yeah, but for this question, I have some other thing to suggest too. So it's very, very important to set the standard.
Yeah.
Do the inspection, or send the third-party inspection agency to help you do the inspection during production and before shipment. And do not pay the final payment until you're sure that everything meets your standard.
Okay, so divide your payment and so it's just, I got it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the third point, how to overcome the cultural differences and the language barrier. So Chris from Australia. Good day, May, if you are watching the live show. So Chris asks, I'm a non-Mandarin speaker. How will this impact on my communication with China suppliers?
Well, I would say it's not necessarily that you have to understand Chinese to help you communicate better, unless you can speak native Chinese and really familiar about all the cultural difference. I think the most important or the key thing here is you just have to make your point very clear, no matter in which way. And also nowadays, I think many professional factories, they do have professional staff who can communicate
English
with customers in English.
Yeah.
So I would say if a factory really does not have this kind of staff who can speak English or at least understand English, if your product has a problem in the future, it's almost impossible for you to communicate to solve.
Right, yeah. I think, that's quite easy to understand. Nowadays, if you are running a global business with foreign company, you have to hire someone who can speak English and to communicate with them. Even some giant company, they have some French speakers or Italian or Spanish, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and also I think you mentioned a really good point. Don't really be afraid or be stressful about the cultural differences. I think just make your point very clear and write it down, not just talk, write it down on your email, on your messengers, anything, and everything, just make sure they reply you. And also you have to understand what they mean, and so double check with them. I guess that's very, very important for the communication, right? Yes. And do you have any case study or what happened to you before? Maybe something weird or even some joke happened between the suppliers and the global online sellers, and there's some misunderstanding. Do you have some case?
Yeah, we do have one customer who is trying to customize a soap box. Like he's trying to develop a very nice wood-made soap box, and I think he had some communication issues with the manufacturers. So he talked to us, and I think for everyone, not just this case, I think the best tip here to help improve communication efficiency is, you just mentioned a little bit actually to Tai. So I think you should be prepared before you communicate. That's the best tip. So we just suggest him, you can list everything on a table, all your specifications and requirements, the color, the size, what kind of wood you want to use for the soap box. And when problems comes, sometimes even you think, a product design is difficult to be expressed in words, you can use a clear drawing, use a picture, use your design drawings to do a good illustration. That's sometimes a better way to communicate. And also keep a record of all your communications and use them as a proof when problem occurs. So you always have a proof to talk to the supplier, say, that's our first iteration and we talk about this. Yeah, and I think that customer actually followed our tips, especially he used some very clear drawing to show his idea of the product design, and the outcome looks really good.
Yeah, right. I think about the cultural difference, or when you do some international business, You need to be, I think let's just be maybe a little bit more open-minded and be more understanding, you know, it won't be that smooth or easy comparing to communicate with the people who, where are you from, the same country, you know, that won't be that easy. So just be prepared, be patient, let them know what you need and ask them what you don't really understand. And you always can find like a better way to understand each other and to get the work done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great. And so, the fourth question is about, you know, the negotiate with the confidence, because, you know, everyone is worried about the price. I think for everything, for every business, the customers or clients always ask the first question is, what's the price and how cheap it will be? Like, but I guess, you know, I mean, you can always find the cheapest price, but maybe they don't have quality guarantee. So about the price or maybe other condition as well. I mean the payment duration or anything else conditionals. So do you have any suggestion about that?
Yeah, I think this is a big question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think first tip or suggestion is, if you want to negotiate with the price, you can try to play around with the MOQs.
MOQ.
So that will influence your price. Instead of considering a single order's MOQ, you can, you know, share likely your annual order quantity as well as the frequency of your order to attract the suppliers. If your annual estimate is high enough, I think your suppliers should take notice and believe in cooperating with you. And another tip is, well, for our customers, this is actually a very important tip. Like I would say I will call it like be a perfect customer or try to be a perfect customer. So everyone is looking for a good supplier, but on the other hand, supplier is trying to look for a good customer too. Yeah. So for example, if you know the market price, then it's sensible not to push too hard. Even if you manage to push a factory into slashing price beyond what they are comfortable with, don't be surprised if your product quality comes back lower than expected. Because they may well try to claw back the margin through some other parts. Yeah, in addition, if you push it too hard, I think the supplier will think that you are not a professional buyer and it will impact your following cooperation since they will not consider you as a valued customer. And a final tip is you can try to compare the price. So usually, or nowadays, everyone's main practice is to get a different quotation from at least 3 to 5 suppliers, and then you can judge whether your manufacturer's quotation is true. So now you can compare 3 to 5 suppliers, and then you cannot get the most suitable price range. And if the manufacturer's price is higher than the range, you can go to negotiate with them. So for this part, you have to judge whether the manufacturer's price is high or low first by yourself, and then negotiate the price.
Yes, I think that's very important. Also, maybe ask them to send you the samples, you know, and you can, for example, you compare 5 suppliers' price, but you can also compare the samples quality. Maybe the cheapest one is not a good quality, but maybe the middle price maybe is the best one. So never get trapped in the price. Also check the quality, check other conditionings, the payment duration, also some other bonus, or also the supplier's background, the review if they have some website. So check everything. And to make a final decision, right?
Yeah, you have to consider all different factors before you make a decision to work with the supplier. Yeah.
Okay, right. I think they also, so there's a friend, is called David. So he is from New Zealand, but he is located in China right now. He asked us, like, is that reliable to pay the offshore accounts of Chinese trading companies in other countries, such as US, the UK, or even Hong Kong, the offshore accounts?
Oh yeah, I think offshore accounts is just a different way people use nowadays. Some trading companies take advantage of the characteristics of offshore accounts. That is, they are foreign accounts to avoid domestic foreign exchange controls and make it easier to grasp funds. Since offshore accounts are not subject to foreign exchange control, funds can be allocated freely for international trade, whether it is import or export. So it is important that you negotiate the payment terms with the manufacturer. So you have to kind of do your own homework and understand the pros and cons of different payment methods. But of course, like offshore accounts, it's just like a different way of payment. So there are, many different payment terms you can use. Typically for the first few times, then, you're not familiar with the supplier, and, if you want to make everything to be more reliable and protect your own benefits, maybe we will suggest people do the payment through Alibaba first. And then once you have a constant or consistent relationship with the supplier and you get more trust on him, you can try some other payment terms. Yeah, just choose one, do your homework, and compare the pros and cons at different stage.
Yes. So I also studied like the offshore accounts maybe has a certain degree of risk. So as you said, maybe in the beginning, if you are not familiar with the suppliers, just pay them through some official website like Alibaba or other company agency, and then gradually when you build a really trustful relationship, you can just think about other way. Maybe it's easier for you and other people as well. So, but always consider the risk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think above all, like we talk about the quality control, we talk about negotiating the price. We also talk about how to overcome the cultural difference, and from the beginning, we talk about how to find suppliers in China. And so all in all, how to build a long-term relationship with China suppliers?
That's another big question.
Yeah.
I would say suppliers, they tend to make allowance, work harder, and do favors for good customers. So, we mentioned this in previous questions too. They also look for a good customer, and they look for long-term relationship. That's good. And they will also be more afraid of losing your business and less likely to gouge you on the price if they think you are a good customer. And the alternative is that they might not like you and will see you as a pain, leading to the uplift. So the general suggestion is you try to act reasonably. Like we talk about, don't try to push the price too hard, push it to an unreasonable range, and act predictably, communicate clearly about what's important to you. Don't squeeze them too hard on the price, and they will particularly like customers whose orders are growing and who don't ask them to do too much new product development work. So if suppliers fear a bad reaction from you too much, when problems occur, they will tend to keep them from you until the last minute or hide them completely in the hope that you don't notice. So this is kind of counterproductive in a way, but they don't like confrontation with an angry customer. So refusing outright to accept something can lead to a breakdown in communication, as the most Chinese supplier will feel you are being unreasonable for not trying to be flexible. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Instead, if the problem isn't too great, we typically will suggest our customers see if they can do extra testing to assure the products work as expected, or pay a reduced price rather than rejecting a whole batch of order, unless the problems are totally unacceptable. In which case, you can refer the supplier back to your documented specification and requirements. So here we go. That's why I have a detailed list of specifications and have them documented. It's important. Just in case anything happens, you can refer it back.
Yes. Yeah, I understand your point, because like sometimes we feel our clients is the god, or they maybe they require a lot of things and they ask the suppliers to do everything for them. But maybe now the demanding and the offering is kind of like they are kind of balancing each other. And as there's so many suppliers serve many global online sellers as well. So maybe, as you said, maybe don't push the price too much, and like make the communication smooth, and also like understand each other needs, and because they're from different countries, especially now pandemic. Sometimes maybe the lockdown or everything will affect your shipment or your producing. So if you don't have a long-term or really reliable relationship with the suppliers, they might affect your business a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and also there's a friend from France. So her name is Marion. He said, "What's the determining factor for long-term relationship, long-term partnership?" I think you mentioned some of them. Do you have a conclusion? Like, what's the determining factor for long-term partnership?
Well, I think in one sentence, you have to find a way to build that trust between you and the supplier. That's like kind of make a very, very big conclusion. Or, generally speaking, that's the key thing. But how to build that trust? It takes time. That's, also we call it a long-term relationship. It takes time to build the trust, no matter your trust on the supplier or the supplier's trust on you. When you, really do the first time, order with a supplier, it's almost impossible for both of you to trust each other, right? And then you have to communicate, be open-minded, communicate more with the supplier, always make your points clear, and, tell them what you really want. And, I think communication is the key thing here.
Okay, great. And just remind our audience from all over the world. And this is live webinar about sourcing from China. We're gonna give you 5 tips, and it's hosted by NextSmartShip. We invite Lisa Chen from Supplyia, which is another sourcing company in China. So we are located in China right now, but our audience from all over the world. So please feel free to ask any question now, because now is our Q&A section. Just drop your question in the Facebook chat box, and we're gonna pick up them to answer questions. So now there's a friend, he has a question. So he asked, is there any government-owned or managed website with all the legitimate suppliers that can access and use to verify? Like does China have some government-owned website to check their real or reliable? Because you mentioned one, it's a company, but it's like a business, a private business. So does China have some official or government-owned website?
Yes, as far as I know, there's a website called 企查查. It's spelled as quichacha.com. This is kind of a governmental website.
So let me just repeat. quichacha. quichacha.com. This is a government-owned website to have you check their background.
Yes.
Yes, so just go to this website, but it might be in Chinese as well, so you need to translate.
Yeah.
I think
use Google Translate.
Yeah, or maybe you can just Google it in English. Maybe you can also find some result from the Google search about
that's
Chinese.
actually a good idea.
Just in case you don't follow the name. But our assistant, maybe Blanche, please just tell them the Qichacha website as well. Like tell them how to spell it, and also talk with the agency. It doesn't matter the agency located in your country who does business with China suppliers, or the business in China like Supplyia, right, sourcing for you. So talk with them, and they can send you some reference or some information. They can help you to double check their background.
Yeah, if you cannot find the information you want on those kind of public websites, always try to find a third party, professional third party. They can offer you more help there.
Great. And there's another friend, Jeremy from Belgium. He has a question. He's been in China before. He just want to ask, like, where's the factories? Like, which part of China has most factories who do overseas business? I mean, global business for online sellers.
Well, I think it totally depends on the product categories. Like, I think, Kai, you must know if you are looking for some digital product categories like Shenzhen,
Yes,
right? You know,
phone,
Shenzhen area
all the
maybe
phone, 3C,
yeah,
health, yeah.
yeah. All those digital kind of related products are there. But if you are looking for like daily use stuff, let's say, you know, cups, you know, boxes and books, you know, toys, and I think our the city where our company located, like Zhejiang Yiwu area, so there are a lot of good factories here. Yeah, so it kind of depends on what the product category you are looking for.
Yeah, but basically in the south of China and east
Yeah,
of
south
China.
of China.
Yes,
Yep.
so there's two areas. And also there's another friend who is from Germany. Martin want to ask, can I require that from the supplier? And is that typical? They will provide the shipping service, or how long does the shipping from China to the States? I think for sourcing suppliers can serve for you, but for shipping, like supplier work with NextSmartShip, and we can do the fulfillment services for you. We can basically, for example, supplier source goods for you, like you want to have some hats or some bottles, whatever you want, and we find the products and we deliver them to NextSmartShip fulfillment center in Shenzhen. We also have, as we mentioned in the beginning, we also have warehouses in New Jersey, and Canada, USA, Australia as well. So we can stock them in our global warehouses and ship to you. So from China to the States, normally if you do the sea freight around like maybe 20 days or 15 days. Yep. But if we deliver from the aircraft, maybe it's like 10 days around. So it really depends what you want. You want a cheaper price or you want a shorter time. So if about fulfillment services, you can always talk to NextSmartShip and leave your message on the Facebook live streaming chat box. Leave your email. Our assistant will write it down and contact you as soon as possible. But if you have sourcing questions, you can also leave there, and we will send to Supplyia. We will send to Lisa. They will help you to source stuff in China.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, and I just have some other questions. Like for sourcing from China, like normally where you guys clients from, like or which country clients you serve the most?
Most of our customers they are from Europe and United States. Yeah, so we do have customers from like Asian countries like Japan too.
Okay.
So I think you know there's some difference between the customers from these countries. I will use an example for Japan customers. For example, Japan is a country who have a really high requirement about the quality, product quality. So like we always talk about quality control and we talk about the inspection, right? For our Japanese customers, they always require us to help them to do a one-by-one product inspection.
One by one.
Sounds like the cost is higher if you want to do a one-by-one inspection, but actually by working with them, we start to notice a thing that actually the cost you spend on product one-by-one inspection is worth it because you don't have any negative reviews and you don't have product a bad product that will actually make the customer unhappy and kind of affect your long-term business plan. But I think for most of our Europe and American, like US customers nowadays, they still prefer to do a kind of random inspection. So for example, depends on the total number of products in this batch order, they typically ask us to help them to do 20% or 30%, depends on their needs. Yeah, but I do see a trend, like some of our Europe and United States customers, they start to want to try the one-by-one inspection, especially for Amazon FBA sellers, because they don't get the products by themselves. We help them to do, like you, right, NextSmartShip, you can help them to send the product to their warehouse, directly. Yeah. And then in this case, one-by-one inspection. it's kind of what they need. Yeah.
Okay, so one by one inspection is the trend now, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we do have customers from everywhere, but yeah, I think the main thing is the same. They're looking for help to build their supply chain in China, and they're looking for shipping service like your company can do. They need some professional help here.
Yeah. Right, awesome. And now we're just sending the promo code on the screen, you can see. So if you like, you can send NextSmartShip, our company's name, to marketing@nextsmartship.com. And we're gonna choose 5 of you guys to enjoy the bonus. So the bonus, as we mentioned before, one bonus is there's no serving fee for your first 2 product sourcing from Supplyia. Normally they're gonna charge you, but for DTC Talks audience, you don't have to pay for it. And this another one is no commission fees, because they normally charge 5 to 10% of streaming audience. You don't have to pay for it as well for your first time working with suppliers. So please send NextSmartShip to marketing@nextsmartship.com, and we're gonna reply you as soon as possible. Yeah. So I have one more, the last question. I think so. We're gonna finish soon, but the last question is because nowadays many people like to do online business. I mean, online business already started a long time ago in China, but now it's blooming in the Western country, especially after the pandemic. People prefer to buy something online, so they want to know what's the trend. Like for example, for American people, like for American online sellers, which 5 or 3, I don't know, maybe like the most popular products they like to sell. Can be apparels, can be some clothes. Do you have any suggestion for the people who want to start their business?
Well, I think this is hard for me to make that suggestion because really we see customers who are looking for all different kinds of products. So I don't really want to give you a top 5 suggestion here because I mean for each of you who want to start your business, I will suggest you trying to find an area you're really interested in. Because without interest, you won't dig into this area. You won't dig into the details of the products. Then you don't know what kind of things people are looking for in this area. No matter you want to do clothes, you want to do children's toys, or some other daily used stuff. So it really depends. You try to find the area you are interested and do a market research and product research first, and see whether this thing you're interested has a potential market. Of course, you can do some search of the top selling product in this area first, and then that will be always like for something to give you an indication of which direction you can go. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, the interest. Which area you have the passion. If you really like to have your own brand of clothes, just do it. If you like to apparels or other electronic, just do it. And secondly, do some research. And is this popular or what's the competition situation? And the very important, where is your target market? You want to target the States, you want to target Europe, you want to target Australia, you want to target to China. So make sure the target market and what they like. So your interest and what they like, make a combination. And then you start to source your products with Supplyia, with some agency like them, and ship them with like some company like NextSmartShip and to your customers globally.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. So we are going to the end right now. So please remember send the promo code NextSmartShip to marketing@nextsmartship.com. Our assistant will put this promo code in the Facebook chat box as well. And we're gonna choose a few of you guys to enjoy the 2 bonus, no sourcing fee, no commission fee. And today, thank you very much, Lisa. Lisa shared with us about 5 tips how to control the quality, how to verify the suppliers, how to negotiate with the confident, how to build up a long-term relationship, and the other one. What's the other one? Is the price, or how to negotiate the price with the suppliers as well. So thank you very much, Lisa.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm very happy to share all this experience with you and with our customers today.
Yeah, great. So we're gonna have this DTC Talks webinar once per month, And this month we are sharing about sourcing. And the next episode, we're probably gonna share funding or marketing or Google Ads, anything related to e-commerce. So this is e-commerce webinar. We're gonna share everything you need to know. After this webinar, you're gonna have a fully understanding about a certain area of e-commerce. We really hope we can help your online business grow. So thank you, Lisa, and thank you all the people from all over the world. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you.
See ya.
Bye.